Hello, folks, and welcome back to the Average Movie Review Podcast. I just got some time to watch Lanterns episode 1, and I thought I'd share my thoughts, even though probably no one gives a shit, but hey, I'd like to share them anyway. I thought it was good. I thought it was really good. I was enjoying every single moment. It's a little dark, it's a little gritty, kind of plays out as like a detective cop type show. Which kind of what the Lanterns really are, right? Like, they're officers of the world, right? Like peacekeeping organization. Um, I think, you know, the show so far has really intrigued me. It's very interesting, nonetheless. Like, I know there was a lot of backlash on the internet. I know a lot of people were talking a lot of shit, and then the show came out, and now everybody all of a sudden is a Lanterns fan, and they're like, wow, this is so amazing, this is absolutely fantastic, I can't believe it, so I'm not surprised. People just love to talk a lot of shit before the show comes out, and then they're like, oh, okay, it's not that bad, holy shit, it's actually pretty good. Yeah, like, what else is new, right? The internet just always talks for no fucking reason whatsoever without giving anything some fair judgment. I want to say Kyle Chandler. Somebody tweeted that if DC had locked in 20 years ago and hired Kyle Chandler to be like Hal Jordan, it would have been amazing. I completely agree. That's how you lock in a character. Not to say Ryan Reynolds didn't do that bad, but Kyle Chandler would have been absolutely phenomenal as Hal Jordan, as he is in this show. He is incredible. I love the way he delivers his dialogue. I love the way he acts. Kyle Chandler himself is a phenomenal actor. You've seen him in almost everything, and he's just absolutely amazing in what he does. So, top tier casting there. We got to talk about Aaron Pierre, right, as John Stewart. I don't think you could have found anyone else better. He literally looks like he was ripped out of the comics. My only thing about him is, and this is just a personal bias, just because I grew up watching Justice League, the animated series, and the voice actor, whose name I forget, but plays John Stewart, his voice was so commanding. Aaron Pierre's voice in this show, I'm sure he can get to that level. He's just kind of like normal, like he's quiet, but he's serious. But when you watch that show and you see Hal Jordan's Green Lantern, you're like, shit, like that guy knows what the hell he's doing. And I'm talking about the animated show, right? Here, of course, he's training and whatnot, and then um, perhaps he'll grow into that voice, or maybe he'll have his own take, whatever it is. But like, I guess for me, it's just like every time I think of Green Lantern, and when I think of John Stewart, I think of that character, and I'm just like, oh wow, like what that was an amazing character. So for me, that was pretty cool. um to talk about the episode, we get to see a little bit of John's past, his relationship with his father. It seems like it's okay from what it seems like, but I would be pretty pissed off if my dad was shooting apples off my head, which was kind of weird. I don't remember that being part of the story, or like that being. I didn't know his relationship with his father was weird like that. Or maybe I did. I just forgot. It's been a while, but yeah, that was a little weird to me, but interesting nevertheless. Their relationship together, Aaron Pierre and Kyle Chandler as Hal and John, absolutely phenomenal. They just riff raff off of each other, like literally. They're they're perfect. I think they're the perfect cop duo. They're hilarious. They're angry. They're funny. They know how to make things serious. They talk to each other as if they hate each other, but also respect each other at the same time. Absolutely adore that. Um, so far so good. We get to do a little bit of time traveling in the sense that we see uh, John as a kid, Hal as a younger version. Then we jump into 2016, which is what I thought the show was going to be fully based in. And then it turns out, that we jump all the way to 2026, right? And then the big reveal at the end. Again, you don't if you haven't seen the episode, I would go back and watch it first before you listen to this. But just spoiler alert, like, we find out that Hal has actually been shot in the head and he's dead and his ring is missing. And John comes to see this with the cop that they meet in Nebraska 10 years ago, which is in 2016. So that's pretty much the main story plot line is who shot Hal and why and where is his ring, right? I guess that's what we're going to be figuring out as the episodes progress throughout the season. Um, I love the little references, the Harry Potter references that little reference was hilarious. Oh man, I'm so tired, guy. I apologize. The what do you call it? The Barack Obama bit, absolutely genius. Hal knows how to play his cards. He knew that no Nebraskan would be like, yeah, he's great. He's a great guy. Barack Hussein Obama is a great guy. He brought up the racism, and I love that. And that's how he outed him. Absolutely phenomenal. A piece of writing, if you're being honest. Like, you got to be smart like that, right? And yeah, I think overall this episode has been really, really good. I'm gonna give it a solid 8 out of 10, 8.5 out of 10. I'm enjoying it. I'm loving the intrigue. I'm loving the time jumps. The relationship between these two is phenomenal. We get to see the new characters as well, like all the other side characters that are joining in, the Mackin family and whatnot. So that's going to be interesting and see how that plays out. Um, yeah, and throughout the trailer, we've already known we're going to get to see Sinestro. We're going to get to see all of this, all the Guardians and all of that stuff. So it'll be very interesting to see how that plays out. One thing I did notice is that Hal is very different. Like 10 years ago from 2016, Hal was a little bit more quirkier and like a little bit more hopeful. And now we see a version of Hal where he just looks desperate. And the alien makes the point like, you are ready to die. Something you did must have done this to you, right? So there must have been something, and I assume it has to do with Sinestro. He must have broken some sort of rule, or he must have done something that pushed him to where he is right now, because he looks very, very reckless and like very like, I don't give a shit anymore about the lanterns. I don't give a shit about my oath. I'm just doing this because I have to kind of vibe, right? But he also wants to do things his own way too. So, it's going to be interesting to see what caused this in him, and where this will take us, and how will this affect their relationship, John and Hal's. And yeah, but overall, pretty good episode. I was locked in. I'm really enjoying it so far. I hope that it continues to be this good. And yeah, let me know what you guys think, and catch you on the flip side. Have a wonderful day, guys.